Absolutely. Well, listen, before we, get into it, some of the material that you're going to present, I want to ask you, we talked beforehand. Um, do you have any kind of update at all on Hatun? Um, can you tell us anything about what's going on with her?
Well, we do know she's safe. We do know she's alive, and we do know now pretty much that she is. I'm guessing she's under police protection.
Yeah.
There's no way of doing that. She hasn't said so. I'm just saying it. This is my guess.
Right.
And the reason why is because of this Edward Little, this fellow who came with a gun. He was on his way to buy a gun. He had 5,000 pounds. That's about $8,000 in his knapsack. Here's a guy off the street who'd just become a Muslim, a convert to Islam. Where did he get 5,000 pounds from? Where did he get $8,000? Obviously, someone was sending him. In fact, he didn't even know who she was. In his backpack, when he got stopped by the police after getting off the train there in London, he had a picture of Hatun, so he knew so he could recognize her, and he had a map of Speaker's Corner. So he was on his way to Speaker's Corner on a Sunday to shoot her with the gun. He even had the address of the guys that he was going to buy the gun from, and those guys have been arrested. There's three of them have been arrested. Now he gets caught, and he is now incarcerated. Well, I think it was December 15th. December 15th was his court case. Knowing that his court case was coming up and knowing that this is going to be there are other people who sent him to do what he was going to do, who paid for that gun or gave him the 5,000 pounds and would like to finish the task. And also, what greater way than to show that he is successful by killing Hatun? That's
Right.
why they took her away, and they put her under not house arrest, but under what's the word they use? Where victim housing. What there's a name for it. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah. Something
Like
protection.
it's where they're protecting the victim. They know and they give them probably different identity. I don't know.
Yeah.
And you don't even when that happens, you don't even tell your spouse. In many cases, if it's that dangerous. In this case, she was not able to tell any of her team, which is really unusual. She disappears all the time. She goes on overseas trips. Sometimes she goes into places that are dangerous. I can't tell you where they are or what they are or what exactly how she does it. She goes under the radar all the time. And when she goes, always tells her team, her DCCI team. This time she didn't. Nothing was told. Nothing.
Yeah.
She missed the meeting that she was supposed to have been at on that Saturday, on the 26th of December, I think it was. And so that's why people knew something was wrong when she didn't show up. And
Absolutely.
so from that time on, it was before 26th of December. I can't remember the date off the top of my head because it's not that important. But here's what's interesting: we didn't know at all if she was alive. Three different emails came out where she says, "Don't worry about me, I'm safe." But they were just general emails from the DCCI email, which anybody can hack. It wouldn't be too hard to hack that email. So nobody really knew if this was really her. There's no way
Right.
of to David Wood, also to another friend on her team, and one to a person here in the United States. So finally, back in January, right at the beginning of January, right after Christmas, I then sent her email on her DCCI, which is the general one, and I said, Hatun, you need to tell me something specific. At a conference we were at, three things. Actually, I just asked her to tell me one thing that only she and I knew, that only I would know that that's from her. No one else would be privy to this, not even my wife. And she wrote back me an email then, about 3 days later. Says, Jay, please tell people to stop writing into the police. I am safe. I am okay. And then she told me not one, but three things that were specific to that incident that only she and I knew about, that only I would know about to prove it was her and no one else. And I could see this was not done under duress because she even then introduced some other new material that I hadn't even thought about, and she brought that into the equation. So that's why we know that it was her. And then David Wood got a phone call about 2 days after that saying that saying that, and so talking to her, and she said much the same message: stop this. I don't need your help. I am fine. I am safe. I will let you know what's going on when the time comes.
Well, that's very encouraging. Glad to to hear that. We will continue to pray for her. I've we've had our church praying for her, my Sunday school class, and they're constantly asking me if I've heard any news. But we know that she's in the Lord's hands, and I just have the utmost respect for her and what she does. But thank
Here's one other thing. On any given week, Hatoon is discipling 600 new believers in Christ,
you.
MBBs. That's what she told me back in September on any given
Yeah,
week. Now, to do that, she has to use YouTube. Sorry, she has to use the internet, not YouTube. She has to use Zoom. Usually she uses Zoom or what we're using here, StreamYard. But she's always discipling them on her computer, and they're in other countries all over the world. These are
yeah,
people from the Lord. Interesting, not one of them has said anything about her disappearance. Have you noticed that? So what
wow,
does that tell you? I know what it tells me. She is still using the internet and she is still discipling those people and she is still in contact with them. That's what I'm guessing because we haven't heard a word from any of them that there's a problem here, proving that she is still accessible. She does have access to the internet, that means, but
right,
she chooses not to get on to her DCCI, account or her other one, the one that's both of them are DCCI.
right,
So she has her plans and looks like she's going to wait until she's ready, and she has to be the one that tells us what's going on and what's
yeah,
happening.